Good morning. Thanks, Josh, for the introduction, and thank you all for coming to this important discussion today. I also want to thank the amazing team at Schneps Media for putting on this terrific energy conference today. And then finally, all of our panelists who are going to be participating today. I think we speak for everyone in the audience in that we look forward to hearing your insights and your observations on what it's going to take to bring about an energy transition that is affordable, an energy transition that is fair, and an energy transition that is also reliable. So this conversation couldn't happen at a better time. I think, as many of you know, we're about halfway through the public comment process on the CLC scoping plan, the CAC rather scoping plan. So the Climate Action Council is a group that was brought together to identify how New York will implement the CLCPA, the Climate Leadership and Protection Act. New York has some of the most ambitious climate mitigation goals in the world, reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 40% by 2030 and 85% by 2050. Now, it will be a challenge to meet this goal, but we need to rise to the challenge because climate change obviously is an existential threat to us all. But again, we must do it in a way that leaves no one behind. National Grid is committed to working with our partners in New York City government, working with our partners in New York State, and working with all of the communities in which we have the privilege to serve. But we have to make sure that we're doing this meaning fighting climate change, while at the same time ensuring that no community gets left behind, while at the same time ensuring that the clean energy transition is a just transition, ensuring that it's affordable, it's reliable, and it provides the services that all the residences and businesses of New York State depend on us to provide, and it's a top priority for us. So last week, we were proud to announce our vision for a fossil-free energy future. And it lays out a path for fossil-free heating across the Northeast by 2050, with achievable milestones along the way. For those of you who might think, well, fossil-free sounds like an odd thing for a quote-unquote gas company to be talking about, rest assured it is not. While in downstate New York, many of my friends and neighbors and colleagues know us as the gas company because we're a gas distribution company in downstate New York, we are also an electric company. In upstate New York, we're providing electric service to more than 10 million people. We are also a renewable developer. And we are also building out the electric vehicle charging infrastructure across the state. We're interconnecting solar across the state. 40% of all community solar interconnected in New York State is interconnected onto our electric networks. So we are far more than just a gas company. We are truly an energy company. And as an energy company, it puts us in a unique position to make sure we play a role in that transition. We make sure that transition happens as a transition, planned out and done reliably. Building emissions is a key part to that. Building emissions account for about 40% of all greenhouse gas emissions in New York City and the region. Our plan and our vision takes aim at that right in the beginning. To accomplish it, our vision looks at really three fundamental pillars, and they are, number one, increasing energy efficiency in our existing building stock. Number two, looking at the widespread adoption of targeted electrification and geothermal. And then number three, a 100% fossil-free gas network. Let me dig into those a little bit deeper. So first and foremost, when I talk about energy efficiency, it is clear that we need to essentially cut our energy consumption by increasing energy efficiency in buildings and in homes. We do that through weatherization, insulation, energy efficiency improvements. That alone can deliver 1/3 of the greenhouse gas reductions that we're looking for. just right out of the heating sector. So wide adoption of these measures, like better insulation, weatherization of our buildings, and replacing old appliances with more efficient appliances, can significantly lower the amount of fuel that consumers use today. And it could reduce building emissions today. That is the most effective and efficient way of doing that. But we also support more rigorous building codes to ensure that new construction maximizes energy efficiency and incorporates the latest technologies to make sure that we get on this path far more aggressively than we have done so far. The second pillar of our fossil-free vision provides customers with tools and technologies to take advantage of what we call targeted electrification and network geothermal. As I mentioned before, we play a key role in electrifying the heating sector and electrifying even the transport sector as we look to put on more EVs. But electrification does offer consumers some clear benefits as they install heat pumps. For some consumers, it could be a very cost-effective measure for many homeowners, as well as businesses as they replace old systems. But not everyone can, and not everyone can afford to electrify. And that brings me to my third point. Today, more than 4 million households in New York State rely on natural gas for heating. Our vision replaces what's called really fossil gas. That's the natural gas that gets taken out of the ground, put into pipelines, and delivered. It talks about replacing that with some fossil-free alternatives, specifically replacing that fossil or geological gas increasingly over time with renewable natural gas, or RNG, and green hydrogen. And I'll drill down on those a little bit as well. Renewable natural gas is a proven technology. It captures methane from landfills, from farms, from wastewater treatment facilities, and other sources. Naturally, that, what we call biogas, today just goes into the atmosphere. And as it does that, it contributes to greenhouse gases. The idea is capturing it before it goes into the environment, putting it into our network, and reusing it for homes and businesses to use in cooking, using in heating, across the footprint. This is not something new. We've been blending biogas or renewable natural gas in our network since 1981. Using RNG avoids the need for expensive new infrastructure construction and protects customers and businesses, but also gives them the freedom to choose how they want to heat their homes and businesses. The other source I talked about was green hydrogen. Green hydrogen and the potential for green hydrogen is really linked to our ever-increasing investment and deployments in renewable energy. Green hydrogen is essentially hydrogen that is generated by using green electricity coming from wind farm, coming from solar farms, putting that electricity through an electrolyzer. The byproduct is hydrogen, a clean fuel that we could then blend into our networks. Combining that with RNG, over time, it replaces our reliance on natural gas that comes out of the earth. The potential for green hydrogen has led to unprecedented investments. One is National Grid's recent announcement about our partnership with the town of Hempstead, Long Island, where we'll look to start blending green hydrogen into the network there and piloting it over 800 homes, as well as the federal government's $8 billion investment in green hydrogen hubs across the country. So while we generally support the CAC's efforts, our critique is that they have not looked firmly enough and hard enough at the potential of decarbonizing the existing gas network as one of the alternatives for us to get to our climate mitigation goals. So why is it important to decarbonize the existing gas network with these cleaner fuels? Well, let's just take New York City. And as I mentioned before, not every building can electrify. In New York City, up to 60% of buildings in the city can't simply electrify. They will continue to need gas, so we'll need to both enhance their energy efficiency, but also supply them with the cleanest fuel through that existing pipeline network. Taken together, we believe that these actions and these recommendations will meet or exceed the CLCPA's emissions reductions benchmarks while reducing emissions by 50% by 2030 and up to 90% by 2050. Finally, and this is especially important to me, our vision for delivering clean energy goals leaves no one behind on that process. We've seen too many transitions where certain communities get left behind. Inflation and price increases are already squeezing New Yorkers, with a disproportionate impact on historically marginalized communities, and we don't want to add to their financial struggles. Our workforce, including more than 4,000 union workforce, is at the heart of our clean energy transition. The workers who maintain our gas infrastructure today are uniquely skilled and qualified to update our existing systems to deliver RNG and green hydrogen and install all the new heating technologies such as network geothermal loops and everything else. Hardworking New Yorkers have supported National Grid for many, many years, and we will not abandon them as we move towards the clean energy future. Now, I've given you a lot of information over a short time. If I have to leave you with some key points, it would be the following. The first is National Grid is 100% committed to meeting New York's climate goals. It is very important. The second, we have a vision that balances affordability with equity, safety, and reliability, a reliable network. And it preserves our customers' right to choose how they want to heat their homes and businesses. Next, at National Grid, we are committed to bringing this vision to life. But we have to do it working in partnerships with many of you. So I ask you to take action to help achieve this vision for an equitable fossil-free transition. You can attend some of the public hearings, sign up to speak, or put in a comment around what you see for the energy vision for the future. You can go to our website, nationalgrid.com/fossil-free, and get more information about this transition, and feel free to add some of those data points in your testimony as you play a role in having your voices heard. I hope we can also talk to all of your contacts about the need for a fair and fact-based approach to meeting New York's climate energy goals. So as I mentioned before, feel free to go to our website, learn a little bit more about the version and the plan. But I thank you for your time. I look forward to hearing the panel this morning. And with that, let me turn it back over to Josh to introduce our exciting panel. Thanks, everyone. Have a great morning.